QTV 7 p.m. news with me, Jeffrey Siambo, to present the headlines. President Edgar Lungu has challenged the Law Association of Zambia to form a political party. Bishop John Mambo has praised President Edgar Lungu for allowing Catholic bishops to visit incarcerated UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema with a view to initiate dialogue. And Republican efforts to find a replacement for President Obama's healthcare system have collapsed. The news in detail. President Edgar Lungu has challenged the Law Association of Zambia to form a political party. Law Association of Zambia President Linda Kasonde yesterday, during a media briefing, questioned the declaration of a state of threatened public emergency before investigations into the cause of the city market fire could be established. Speaking to journalists at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport before departure for Swaziland for a two-day state visit, President Lungu noted with concern the politicking taking place in the Law Association of Zambia. President Lungu says it is unacceptable for lawyers to abuse the noble professional body by politicking. The head of state says that it is high time lawyers with political ambition form their own political parties and face him head-on. And President Edgar Lungu has wondered why lawyers are failing to interpret the law in a manner that will be easy for the majority Zambians to understand. But the Law Association...
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Your Excellency.
Yeah, where are the lawyers? Where are the lawyers in this country?
They are there, but how do you feel the interpretation by the lawyers?
Form a political party, let them go ahead and form a political party. Let them not abuse the profession. It's a noble one. Yeah, because what they're saying is politics. You can see it's politics. For me, I challenge them to form their own political party, but let them not abuse the profession. Okay, thank you. If they want to take me on that one, they can take me on. But the truth is that there's so much politics in the Law Association of Zambia. If they want to form a political party, let them go ahead and form one with them. But to abuse the noble profession, like the law profession where I belong, it's unacceptable. Where are the lawyers in this country? Bye-bye.
But the Law Association of Zambia has declined to comment on claims by President Lungu that there is too much politicking in the association. Last President Linda Kasonde declined to comment on the matter when contacted. Meanwhile, Ms. Kasonde has welcomed the willingness to dialogue by President Edgar Lungu and incarcerated UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema. She says this is an indication that the issues between the main political parties can be resolved, adding that dialogue is the only way through which differences can be resolved.
It's gratifying that following the meeting with the bishops, the Republican president has stated that he's open to dialogue with the opposition UPND, and we are gratified as well that on the other side the UPND appear also to be willing to engage. So that is the start of a positive sign that the issues between the two main parties can be resolved, because dialogue is really the only way through which difficulties and differences can properly be resolved. So it seems to be that both parties are saying the same thing, that they would like to dialogue, and that is the best way forward for everybody.
Chikondi Foundation President Bishop John Mambo has praised President Edgar Lungu for allowing Catholic bishops to visit UPND President Hakainde Hichilema in prison with a view to initiate dialogue. Bishop Mambo has called on all well-meaning Zambians to support the efforts being made to unite the country, stating that this will help promote peace and tranquility in the country. He says it is important that the Catholic bishops ensure that there are no conditions attached to dialogue once they meet the incarcerated opposition leader. Bishop Mambo has since urged the Catholic bishops to meet Mr. Hichilema as soon as possible so that all political parties can meet and dialogue to resolve perceived differences among them.
The born again, we are busy bashing each other. Souls are being destroyed. The alcohol intake in this country, immorality and corruption. We must be a part. You see those who are in power sharing land in our eyes. These are members of our church, leaving the poor in the cold, and we are never bothered about, because I just wanted a name and all that. I would rather have Jesus as my friend. and God as my Savior and King, and have nobody else. Because even my wife, I tell her that when it comes to speaking for the voiceless, it is the job of an ambassador called by God, not the other way around. So the effort that has been made, we must all support. I know that people now say, why the Catholics, why this? No. It's very, very important that they go and see HH, come back to the president and say, there should be no conditions after that. Round table conference. And when they meet, it shouldn't just be UPND and PF, no. Let all, they should take this moment, that all an opportunity, that all the political parties that are registered in this country, the Mulongoti, the Nevas Mumba, the Musoni, and all that, come together under a round table. And those of us who be praying for them be around the table. That what they agree, it shouldn't like what they did in the Cathedral of the Holy Cross. It differs with what happened in 1991. KK was genuine in agreeing with MMD at that time. This is the position, this is the route we are taking. But these ones came from Cathedral of the Holy Cross and they insulted God, because the next day we started hearing people calling each other name and insult.
Meanwhile, political analyst Alex Ngoma has appealed to Catholic bishops to ask incarcerated UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema to share with the nation the basis on which he has disputed the outcome of the 2016 presidential election when they visit him to share the idea of dialogue with President Edgar Lungu. Dr. Ngoma says this is extremely important in establishing the legitimacy of the electoral grievance that the UPND has been harboring since August 2016. He says the nation is aware of the fact that the Catholic Church in Zambia was part of a consortium of churches and civil society, including regional and international bodies, that endorsed the victory of President Lungu. Dr. Ngoma, however, says this fact should not hinder the Catholic bishops from urging Mr. Hichilema to justify his refusal to accept the 2016 presidential election results, stating that Zambians deserve to know the truth in this matter. He has further stated that the conditions for dialogue must be realistic to avoid jeopardizing the process. Electoral expert McDonald Chipenzi has urged the Judicial Complaints Commission, JCC, to release the findings of the investigation into the alleged misconduct and incompetence of Constitutional Court judges brought by various concerned citizens. Mr. Chipenzi has wondered what has caused the delay to release the findings when the process of hearing petitioners, their witnesses, and the judges' submissions concluded more than 6 months ago. He says continued keeping of petitioners in perpetual suspense on this matter is likely to raise additional doubts on the capacities, capability, and competencies of the Judicial Complaints Commission to investigate complaints brought by citizens against erring judicial officers and in dispensing justice expeditiously. He adds that the release of the JCC's findings to the public will help free the concerned judges from the allegations of incompetence and gross misconduct in the handling of the 2016 presidential election petition. Mr. Chipenzi further states that the release of the findings will further enable the judges to perform their judicial duties with pride, credibility, and confidence, as they will be freed from perceptions that they mishandled the 2016 presidential election petition.
When we say under Article 18 of our Constitution, justice should not be delayed, I don't think that is only justice that is in court, but even justice in issues like what the JCC is doing. How many citizens right now are affected by the decision by the Judicial Complaint Authority or Commission not to release the findings? How many? So many. The petitioners, they are affected. The judges are affected. The stakeholders like myself are affected. So it is imperative that the JCC quickly releases its findings to the citizens, unless they are telling us that they are not accountable to us as citizens. But if they follow the Constitution, judges are supposed to be accountable to us as citizens. And now we have an issue with them. The Judicial Complaint Commission must quickly give us the result of its findings, whether it will go against us, or it will go against the judges. The fact remains that they have a duty to give us the results of their findings.
You're watching QTV 7 p.m. News. We'll take our first break. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Jay.
And I'm Cece.
QTV brings to your home a new program that will change the way information is disseminated.
A show like no other that aims to inform you.
Hold up, wait, we did it again. Beat German in a game. They never saw it coming, then we wiped them like a hurricane.
Educate you.
Today's topic, here I'm looking at a cell. Know that they brought you, but I mean it by yourself, which is a basic function of the living organ.
Motivate and inspire you.
The Base, Saturdays, 15 hours. Don't miss.
It's a Saturday, the only time your TV set comes alive.
Welcome back. Agriculture Minister Dora Seleya says government has undertaken an integrated approach to increase agricultural production in the country. Speaking when she received feasibility study results on the new Kalungwishi farming block of Lunte district in Northern Province from China Railway Service Group Limited today, Ms. Seleya says the new farm block will foster government's integrated approach in increasing livestock and agriculture production. Ms. Seleya says for this to be achieved, government will provide an enabling environment for people within the farm block. She notes the need to provide irrigation systems and good road networks for easy transportation of agricultural yields and equipment.
Agriculture needs a lot of enablers. It's just not about land, it's just not about water, it's just not about financing, it's just not about energy, it's about everything. And so for agriculture to take place, we need a lot of enablers. And this is why it's not surprising that you see the Minister of Finance here, you see our oversight from Parliament, the Honourable Member of our Parliament. Our objective as the Ministry of Agriculture is to increase production and productivity. Just maize alone, we are talking this year 3.6 million metric tons. We should be talking about 10 million metric tons. We should not even be talking about, we are going to ban exports because there's not enough food in the country. We should be producing so much so that at any given time, we have something to sell. We should be exporting agricultural crops the whole year round. What should change is the type of crops. When it is maize, it is maize. When it is potatoes, it's potatoes. When it's vegetables, it's vegetables. Beef, chickens, goats. We should be exporting the whole year round. And that is the only way our farmers will get wealthy. These farm blocks are a big opportunity for Zambians. We have to move away from thinking of farm blocks as just a bare piece of land with bush. Farm blocks in our minds must be a town that is developed, with everything around that town being related to agriculture one way or another. Whether it is actual crop production, it's livestock production, it's agri-processing, it's packaging, everything.
And Finance Minister Felix Mutati has stated that the new farm block will be part of the 2018 national budget preparations. Mr. Mutati states that it is now government's responsibility to create investment opportunities through infrastructure development.
Investors won't come and put in infrastructure. So we have to take the responsibility to create the road network, the dams, bring in power, so that the investor only does those things that make money. For us, we shall invest, and when they make money, we shall collect taxes to recoup our initial investment. So we shall have to be the first one to go forward, and we shall recover over the period of the venture. So, Minister, we will assure you from Finance, this will be part of our budget preparation for 2018. So we will start turning dreams into reality.
The new farming block is expected to accommodate wildlife conservation zones, human settlement zones, forestry development and social services. The Zambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Zaki President Michael Nyirenda has reminded government of the need to maintain policy consistency so as to help local industries thrive. Mr. Nyirenda has told Q News in an interview that policy inconsistency is detrimental to the economy and reduces the confidence and trust of both the local and foreign investors. He says policy consistency is key in attracting investment in the country, leading to positive economic growth. Mr. Nyirenda has also reminded government of the need to consult the private sector and various industry players before policies are implemented. He has since urged government to utilize the regulatory impact assessments so that regulations and policies that are implemented are predictable and consistent. You're watching QTV 7 p.m. News. We'll take a break. Stay with us.
QTV brings to you a show taking you on an exciting roller coaster as you meet remarkable people from all walks of life, sharing their extraordinary life stories, arts, entertainment, lifestyle. Join Marvelous, Sipokazi, Lucia, and Kirsty on the new and exciting magazine show, 54.
Welcome back. Government has emphasized the need for increased investment in rural areas and economic multi-facility zones. Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Margaret Mwanakatwe says government has pumped in a lot of money and resources in improving road infrastructure in rural areas in order to encourage investment from the private sectors. Ms. Mwanakatwe adds that government has also set aside 100 hectares of land in each province for agricultural production. The minister said this when the visiting delegation from Morocco, headed by that country's Foreign Affairs Minister, paid a courtesy call on her to see which areas are available for investment in Zambia and to also follow up on bilateral meetings President Edgar Lungu and King Mohammed of Morocco had when he visited the country early this year. Zambia Cooperatives Federation ZCF Director General James Chirwa has welcomed the reduction in the number of Food Reserve Agency FRA depots during this year's marketing season. Mr. Chirwa tells Q News that the decision to reduce the number of depots is a good move as it will encourage private sector participation in the buying of maize. He notes that the presence of the FRA all over the country was overcrowding the presence of the private sector, stating that agriculture marketing should not be a prerequisite of government alone. Mr. Chirwa is also hopeful that the Food Reserve Agency will set up its depots in the remotest parts of the country in view of the reduction in the number of its depots. He has also encouraged farmers to add value to their maize by making use of the solar milling plants that have been installed in their communities.
Reaction is that, in summary, we welcome that decision. We welcome that decision. And our prayer in welcoming that decision is that FRI will concentrate on remotest areas of our country in fulfillment of their mandate. You know that FRI was mandated to go where the private sector will find it difficult to go. And so the people there who have the maize remain unpurchased because people were unable to reach those areas. And so the creation of FRI was to ensure that those areas which were shunned by the private sector as a result of distance are fully covered by that government operation through FRI. And so we suppose that by reducing the depots, FRI will concentrate in those areas that I've already mentioned, that are in the remotest of our country. Now, on the other hand, I wish to say that FRI was overcrowding the private sector.
The Patriotic Front in Mandevu constituency has jumped to the defense of Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo, who is alleged to have directed PF youths to attack lawbreakers. PF Mandevu constituency chairman Joseph Tamba says the minister did not direct any youth to attack anyone during a meeting in Mandevu, but encouraged them to work with the Zambia police in bringing to book arsonists. Mr. Tamba says the PF youths are not violent as purported by some media institutions. He has advised the media to help unite the country instead of destroying it, especially during this period.
I'm very happy the Zambian people, they are very much aware which media, which want to decampaign the party which is in power. They have got hidden agenda. But let's say we want to own them. That as Patriotic Front, we are not going to sit idle to see such activities taking place in this country. because we are here to protect the Zambian people, and we are here to protect this country because we want to see our children's to come and inherit where we are going to end. So we are very disappointed. Just wanted to let the Zambian people understand this. If they want to believe that that media is now just trying to always issuing negative statement against the Patriotic Front government, let them check what the minister said on Sunday. He didn't instruct the PF cadres to start arresting Zambian people. And you know the caliber of the Minister of Home Affairs. He cannot issue such statements.
The Zambia Police Service has been called upon to reconsider the recent ban on the use of motor vehicles with foreign number plates on Zambian roads. Opposition People's Alliance for Change leader Andiford Banda says the ban will negatively impact on people who deal in the sale of second-hand vehicles. Mr. Banda has since proposed that the ban on the use of vehicles with foreign number plates should only apply during the night so that the business of those who deal in such vehicles is not affected. The police have also banned the use of unregistered motor vehicles on Zambian roads, with the exception of those in transit.
I would have expected, the statement from police where it banned the use of foreign number plates and unregistered vehicles. Well, I'm not sure how that is connected to what is happening in the country, if at all it's connected to ASUN. But two things here: unregistered motor vehicles. All car dealers, when they bring their cars and they want to sell them, there's no way they're going to register them. The reason is simple. Once you register your vehicle, it means that it has lost value. So the question is that how are they going to be trading? How are they going to be, moving their vehicles from wherever they park them, whether at the car park or at home, to the point of sale? Meaning that during that period they'll be harassed. So we believe that this instruction should have only applied in the night, not in the day. I think it's going to affect car dealers just as much as people at City Market are affected, and this is one of the reasons why we are saying that this state of emergency is going to affect us negatively. So the police should think about the car dealers, because car dealers cannot start registering vehicles because the police have said so. They need to sell the cars. The moment they register the vehicles will lose value. What if you register a vehicle today and you don't sell it for 3 months? What will the person who wants to buy it say? Say that no, this vehicle has been around for this long. I mean, it's the marketing strategy.
This is QTV News. We take a break. Stay with us.
Follow 3 married couples on the challenging journey of marriage life today.
I told you that I was going to go and talk to him.
Witness as they cascade through day-to-day issues in a home.
And just where do you think you're going?
Don't miss Shipikisha Club, Tuesdays at 20:30 on QTV. Experience home.
Welcome back. Lands and Natural Resources Minister Jean Kapata has called on people engaged in timber business to adopt a culture of tree replanting whenever they cut down trees. Ms. Kapata tells Q News in an interview that in the quest to curb climate change, government is ensuring that for most valuable tree species that are cut down, new ones are replanted. She says it is devastating that some people are cutting down trees without replanting, stating that such activities have adverse impacts on the climate. Ms. Kapata has since instructed the Timber Association of Zambia to ensure that even those who have concession licenses satisfy government's requirements of replanting for any tree species that is cut down. The Professional Teachers Union of Zambia, ProTUS, has appealed to its members countrywide to remain calm as it negotiates for improved salaries and conditions of service with government. ProTUS General Secretary Kangwa Musenga tells Q News that the negotiations, which were initially supposed to be concluded on the 30th of June 2017, are now most likely to be concluded by 31st of July. Mr. Msenge has since cautioned teachers to be wary of social media reports suggesting that government has increased their salaries. He says teachers' salaries have not been raised yet, but has reaffirmed the union's commitment to the improvement of teachers' conditions of service. Government says it is committed to ensuring that quality education is built on a solid foundation through provision of instructional materials and equipment. Speaking when he flagged off the distribution of various instructional material and equipment to all the 10 provinces in Lusaka today, General Education Minister Dennis Wanchinga says since the implementation of the Zambia Education Curriculum Framework in 2014, various educational materials and equipment have been developed and procured respectively to enhance the quality of education at all levels. Dr. Wanchinga says government will therefore also distribute computers and early childhood instructional material to all the provinces. He says the materials and other equipment that have been distributed to various schools will play a critical role in supporting the holistic development of learners to enable them to become responsible citizens that will drive the country's economy. The minister has since appealed to all teachers in schools to ensure that the materials provided are safeguarded. This is QTV News. We take a look at the top stories tonight. President Edgar Lungu has challenged the Law Association of Zambia to form a political party. And Bishop John Mambo has praised President Edgar Lungu for allowing Catholic bishops to visit incarcerated UPND leader Hakainde Hichilema with a view to initiate dialogue. In international news, Republican efforts to find a replacement for President Obama's healthcare system have collapsed. 2 Republican senators said they opposed the party's proposed alternative, making it impossible for the bill to pass in its current form. The party has been divided on the issue, with moderates concerned about the effects of the most vulnerable. President Trump has now called for repeal of Obamacare so Republicans can start from a clean slate. That task falls to Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Mr. McConnell said regretfully, it is now apparent that the effort to repeal and immediately replace the failure of Obamacare would not be successful. President Trump had made repealing and replacing Obamacare, under which more than 20 million people gained health care coverage, a key campaign pledge. The president of the Spanish Football Federation and his son have been held as part of a corruption investigation, police in Spain say. Angel Maria Villalona was arrested on suspicion of embezzling funds, El País and EFE news agency reported. Mr. Villa, a former Spain international footballer, has been president of the association since 1988. His son, Goka, was among a number of other people also arrested during a number of raids early on Tuesday. Spain's High Court told Reuters that one of its investigating magistrates and anti-corruption prosecutors were loading the probe. Spanish media report that the allegations center on the falsification of documents and skimming profits from international football matches. There has been no comment yet from Mr. Villa, 67, or his lawyers. That's all we have for you at 7 p.m., but we'll come back again with more news at 10 p.m. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo. Bye-bye.